Hey guys, and welcome to Monifactory Progression Log 12 at this point. I do have a decent amount of stuff to show you guys, so I guess we'll go ahead and get started with over here now that you guys can see that. So I needed somewhere to put the research station since we were going to kind of getting into that. That was a big blocker to progress pretty early on in this week. And because we didn't really need this area anymore, I just kind of like ripped everything out and I built the first station here. And the first HPCA, you only need one at first because if you want to use two or more than one, you need a network switch, and that requires some UV circuits. I think I could probably do that, though I've had other things I needed to work on. Um, so eventually we'll have more HPCAs over here. There are some pretty hefty research ones. I think they go up to 128 or so. This one doesn't even have the advanced ones either. Those ones are also kind of gated for some other stuff. I think actually as of last night we might be able to make them. So I guess we'll come down over. We'll go to Autocrafting now, I guess, since we've had some more upgrades over there. I don't think mostly upgrades are well mostly down over here. I added a discharger. This is a Monifactory specific multi-block. This is part of the Skulk progression line. Um, it's used in making a few recipes, namely Cryokis. That's like the big one. You make a bunch of solar panels and stuff here. Oh, and the Hadal warp engines. You need this stuff for, you need the liquid stuff for, and this for a bunch of different skulk items, the different energy cores, which are needed in a lot of late game stuff. We should have done this back in around IV or so. Maybe not the discharger, but if we come back over here to extended crafting, this saw some extensive reworks. I rebuilt the extended crafting area over here. I also added the combination crafting, and this is right now just manual. I haven't actually set up like automated stuff for this. I actually have no idea how to extract from this automatically. It doesn't seem to push us items. I might have to set up like an export bus or something. We should have done this back at around IV or so, IV into going into LUV or so. But you don't actually need anything from this up until around where we are now, which is late ZPM, early UV. Um, so I eventually did have to break down and build this because we needed it for this skulk. I think it was the skulk course. Yeah. We needed this for the meso energy course because we finally had to start going down this progression because I wanted to get some of the higher tier miners. That's been really lacking recently. We had the only mission we had on demand at the beginning of this week was the tier 5 Naquita mission. However, since we're at Glacio now, and if I ever need more Naquita, I can just roll miners over there. I hadn't really used it in a while, but there were a bunch of other things that we do get from various higher tier miners, and especially since we're going to need them anyway, for the heart of the universe or whatever, that it was a good idea to start putting some more things on passive. So I guess we can just anything more over here. Oh yeah, so I'm using the ME packaging providers now, and what these are, you just put one recipe holder. And I actually didn't really understand how a packaged auto works. The quest book was good enough to get you started into making a working setup, but it honestly isn't a great description, at least from what I gleaned from it. I'm possibly stupid. Um, that which is really to make like an actual good extended crafting system. And also the ME packaging provider does a lot of this stuff too. It's basically a packager and unpackager in one block. So you just put the recipe holder in here. You can put all the different advanced crafting recipes in one. There's only 13 possible advanced crafting recipes. So you only ever need one of these things unless you would like to parallelize them. I'm not exactly sure if there's anything you'll actually need to parallelize in these things. Maybe the ultimate gems at some point, but it's pretty quick. So, and especially since there's four of them, I'm pretty sure it will paralyze between all of them. I'm not exactly sure, but I haven't had any problems with it so far, so I think this works. So we have one for advanced crafting, we have one for elite, and we have two for ultimate, as there are actually 23 different recipes to make in the ultimate one. We only have 22 because the 23rd one is the creative jetpack, which isn't actually used in anything, so we don't need the creative jetpack. So I just didn't encode that one. I can always encode it later if I really want to, but it's not really a problem right now. And then we just have combination crafting because we need the empowered blocks of all like the atomic reconstructed stuff. As we do finally, we need some of that stuff for the energy cores, I believe. So this wasn't too bad either, just another ME packaging provider with the various recipes. There's only 6 empowered blocks. I believe there's only 6 recipes in total that even go in the combination crafter here. So we don't need any more than this. So this is a little bit of a scuffed setup over here. I kind of want to move this over one, but it works for now. And after I tore everything out and rebuilt it like twice, I didn't really feel like fucking with it again, especially since it worked. Um, I either wish their combination crafting and extended crafting wasn't here, or there was more to do with it. As it feels kind of lame to me that there's like 20 recipes or something that you really have to do over here. So it's like kind of like a side chore almost, rather than anything like actually interesting. We have to go back in time and delete Avarita. We can't let that happen, and we can't let the massive crafting tables happen. I don't think I've had any changes over here. Oh, I think I finally moved this over one. And it's all these things have been upgraded with ZPM energy hatches, so they're all a lot faster, and I gave most of them some better parallel hatches. So I guess we'll go on, and we're gonna run over to the micro. Oh, we'll go to factory floor 2. I built some stuff over there that I want to talk about. Oh, power is still fine. As expected, I overbuilt it during the power avoiding days. It's you know way overbuilt. It produces 8.5 million EU a tick from all this stuff. So it will like run for like a couple hours and then it will turn off for I don't know like anywhere from 6 to 8. When this base is done with everything and it's just kind of chilling and idling, it doesn't really consume all that much power, which is pretty nice. So yeah, I'm very happy this works. So I do know for a fact, absolutely 1000% that Laser IO voided the power. However, I wasn't actually able to figure out when or why it voided the power. I did some small scale testing over here and I just couldn't figure it out. I had a few I have some ideas about that, but like now that I'm actually thinking about it, like I've been thinking about it, I think it voids power when you have multiple extraction energy cards. Because I only have one in here now, and it seems fine to me. I haven't had any problems with like really high energy costs for some reason. 700,000 for the idling base does seem kind of high to me, but I mean we do have a bunch of vacuum freezers and distillation towers and stuff that are running pretty high. So it's within the realm of plausibility. Unlike, an 8 million draw or whatever that we had before, a 6 million draw. So it's definitely more reasonable. So I think it has something to do if you have a bunch of extraction cards extracting from the dynamo hatch. That's my current idea, my current hypothesis. That being said, though, I haven't tested that. I was unable to actually replicate the bug, so yeah. But Laser IO straight up voids your power. I don't, like I said, I don't know when or why or how it does it, but it does do that. So don't use Laser IO. I've just been kind of spamming flux points at this stage. They're just really not that expensive for what we actually like. Flux cores are not that bad. That's like an LUV sensor and an LUV emitter and some cryobulus clockers and stuff, and it's just like it's not that bad. And you get 2 of them as well. So and these are like these aren't really that expensive either, especially since we have some pretty good LUV circuits. It's mostly the time cost because we have all this stuff on passive, and we have tons and tons of this stuff like Nether Star. Like the most expensive thing out of this whole thing is probably the Nether Stars or maybe the Ruridit, but we have tons of ruthenium and iridium. So like we have 109,000 ruthenium dust and iridium dust. We have 168,000. So it's, it's I'm not really that concerned about spamming them at this stage. I don't. Oh, I added another a crystal autoclave over here for the prepared nanotube substrate. I'll come back to that why I did that in a little bit. I do want to talk about the factory floors first, though. I finally tore out all of these things and I rebuilt them with IV machines, as I needed to put because I wanted to put some stuff on passive and I didn't really have anywhere to put these machines, but I did know that I hadn't really rebuilt these things in a long time, pretty much since I set them up originally. All this stuff was MV machines. These were all HV machines. These were all, MV machines as well. And they were all, I hadn't gone through and changed a bunch of things. Like, we still were making components for, like, the old SMD inductors. We are still making some things we were basically making components for a bunch of things that we no longer need and or craft. So there was no need to have them on passive, especially since I needed more space for stuff. It was worth just tearing out and rebuilding. So yeah, these are all better. I moved the ones that made chemicals, like for example, silicon rubber was being made over here, and that got moved to LCRs. Yeah, there's some more stuff over here that I pulled out as well. So yeah, this was it didn't take me too long, but it was well overdue. I definitely needed to do this a long time ago. But it's fine. I fixed it now. Over here, didn't really see too many significant rebuilds, but I did rebuild the 82 processors area. Originally, it had been set up, I don't know, a couple hundred hours ago of playtime or whatever, probably like 2 months ago or so. To put 82 processors on passive. However, I was ordering some pretty big crafts that wanted a ton of engineering processors, and I noticed that I didn't have enough, and I figured it was a buffer issue. But when I came over here, one of the inscribers had just stopped exporting to the drawer below it, and instead of trying to spend 30 minutes to figuring out why it wasn't working, because we had IV, we could actually do these in IV machines now. So I just set all that up. And this is a subnet. I didn't want to put all these because the processors can be made in inscribers or they can be made in circuit assemblers, but the circuit assemblers require clean rooms, and I didn't want to put them in the clean room. So instead, I built my first ever circuit assembler multi-block, specifically so I could use the cleaning hatch. I love the cleaning hatch. It's so good. It's great. And it works on a subnet. I love subnets too. Woohoo! I crammed another subnet in over here. And it just does level emitting over here. So how this works is one of these things. So this one will pull in. So this ULV input bus pulls in the printed logic circuits so it has a controller on it. So it will automatically draw them in as input buses do. However, because we have enough, we're over the limit, it turns it off so it doesn't pull in anymore. So we just pull in the various printed boards and stuff. And over here we have things that get used for all of them, like the LV circuits, the printed silicon, and the nanoprocessor. And this one just uses the liquid soldering alloy. And so this thing automatically level emits itself. A little subnet here. I love. Actually, all of this is on a subnet. Mostly because this stuff doesn't get used anywhere else. We don't really use black steel plates for anything at this stage. And if we do need it, if this stuff, instead of pulling from here on passive, you can always make it on demand, or I can always just expose the plates to the main net. I didn't actually do that. Most of the stuff here isn't actually exposed to mainnet. Yeah, but little subnet. We didn't really need any of this stuff on mainnet, so it's a little own self-contained thing. I love subnets. They're so good, especially when you have the access to like the ME output bus, which just blindly dumps into a planar logistics. You kind of do have to set up subnets for that stuff. So I did want to just do that. It was very nice. Especially since this multi-block requires a lot of casings. You don't have that many spots for input buses and stuff. Like right now, actually, we have exactly the minimum number of casings here. We have, the 5 input buses here, or 4 input buses here, 1 input bus here, 1 input hatch here, and then we have the IV energy hatch, the actual controller multi-block, the cleaning maintenance hatch, and the parallel control hatch. And we have exactly the minimum number of casings, so we can't actually add any more input buses or output buses or anything like that. So I legitimately don't think I could have gotten this setup to work attempting to do output buses or something. So yeah, subnets. Let's go. I love subnets. They're super powerful. Build more of them. I also ripped PTFE out of here. It shut down for some reason a while ago, and I just never really noticed. And at one point, I noticed that we didn't have any, or we had our PTFE supply was extremely low, and it had been, I hadn't moved it since I should have, put that in an LCR a long time ago. I just never got around to it, so I finally did get around to it. I did, however, leave, the machines that were making the ingots and the sheets here. There was no need to move that. That worked just fine. Over here, I haven't really done anything too much. I do actually kind of can probably pull this passive phosphate line out. We don't really need it anymore, especially since we have access to miners, the higher tier miners, and I can just go to like Venus or whatever and just, grind up an apatite vein or two or whatever. And we have like 460,000, so we're kind of good on that. So I might rip this out so I can put some higher tier machines over here. But yeah, this is fine. I'm so glad I got around to rebuilding Factory Floor 1, though. That was really a relic of the old times. I think it means almost all the old systems in the base have been rebuilt except for HN and N. This is definitely something that I need to rebuild. I definitely need to figure out something to do over here. However, we're actually not that close to like the loot fabricator multi-blocks here. Okay, actually, we're a little bit farther away than I thought. I mean, we can make the controllers soon. Um, like data models and stuff. Oh, that's a heart of a universe. Never mind. Okay. Okay, we're a little bit further from that than I thought we were. Anyway, if we come over here to the EBF area, I actually added, I can go ahead and talk about the nano substrate thing. I added crystal ingots on passive. You need that for the tier 8, I believe. Yeah, the tier 8 miner. And this gives us the Hadal shards, which is what we need going forward for the Skulk progression. This stuff you use in the Hadal energy cores and the Hadal warp engines. And the Hadal warp engines get used in the tier 11 and 12 miners, as well as the tier 10. Epic crafting. That's going to be annoying. I have another thing I have to set up. Anyway. Yeah, so, these get used in the tier 10 miner, which we do need, obviously, for Heart of the Universe. So we're actually not that far from tank. We'll probably get tank by around next week, I think. I think probably the next progression log will have tank. The one after that definitely will. I've been putting a lot of time into Monifactory, as you guys well know. Here we go. I can actually show you how much time played it is. Time played is 18.58 days, which is around 450 hours or so. So yeah, I've put a lot of time into it. So we're pretty close to tank. We're getting there. Actually, I have the tier 11 miner encoded, so we can see what we're missing here. And as you can see, we're missing, lots of these various components. But like the quantum chest isn't that bad. We're missing all these various things as well. But like if we talk about, let's see, I think like the tier 11 miner. Where's the 11 miner? Oh, I might not. Oh, that's epic crafting, so I haven't encoded that one yet. But yeah, so we're pretty close to tank. We're not that far away. So yeah, we have crystal matrix here because we'll need that for the Hadal shards and stuff. There haven't really been too many changes over here. I'm kind of done messing around with ABS, I think, for the most part. I haven't added any ABSs either. We haven't really needed any new ingots like that. I do know that I want to put Dark Solarium on passive at some stage, but I haven't really gotten around to that either. That's something I just kind of order. I just, order like 200 ingots at a time or whatever. It's really, really slow. It's 30 seconds per ingot. Even at ZPM, it's minimum ZPM, and it's 30 seconds per ingot, so it takes a while. We have 2 of them running, so it's not so bad, but... I also added more vacuum freezers over here, specifically for nether air, as if we come over to the clean room, you guys can see what I've done for the crystal matrix. The crystal matrix line is really fucking annoying. So to make the crystal matrix ingot, well, I guess to make the hot ingot, you can smelt the dust, which you get by grinding out the ingot. But you need the dense matrix, the dense matrix mesh, which comes from the porous one, which is a chemical bath and an LUV chemical bath in a clean room with liquid nether star. Carbon nanotubes comes from an LUV engraver in the clean room. The grown nano substrates comes from an arc furnace with acetylene, and acetylene was a little bit annoying, but it wasn't that bad in the end. I do need to figure out, start reprocessing the calcium hydroxide, as we have just a shitload of that somewhere. So you have to do a bunch of this stuff in the assembler, and you actually need neon gas for this. So you need neon gas to actually make this. This is one of the few recipes it's actually used in. So we need neon gas there's not very many great ways to get it. There's waste gas mixture, which comes from something. I don't know what that comes from. The number one way to get it, though, is the distillation tower from liquid air. Most of the other crap we don't really care about, like, sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, hydrogen sulfide, coal gas is all stuff we don't really care about. Helium-3 is, moderately useful, I guess. It's sort of useful, more useful than the other things are, at least. Like, if you can burn it, you can combine it in a fusion reactor for oxygen plasma if you're doing oxygen plasma for power. That being said, though, I'm pretty sure deuterium and tritium is the best in terms of fusion power. Even though this does produce slightly more power per millibucket, it takes more power to run, I believe. It also takes a Mark II reactor to do, and I'm not spending a Mark II reactor on that, thanks. Yeah, so, there's not really a lot of uses for most of the stuff from Nether Air, which is why I never really got around to doing it, because the only thing you actually care about from it is neon gas, and it's not a great source of it. You can also extract it from solidified neon, which you can get from Microverse missions, but this is not something I really want to attempt to put on passive at this stage. I guess I could try and do like a requester with like a level limiter or whatever. But honestly, it was better just to set up the refrigeration and distillation. I just put that over in Petrochem 2. We didn't have any room over here, so I just put another distillation tower down over here. And this is once again its own little subnet. I love subnets so much, guys. They're so good. And as you can see, we have a bunch of stuff that I don't really care about. And 3,000 buckets of neon gas. Like, coal gas is useful, like early game, I guess. Like the ammonia is nice. The ethyl benzene is used to make one thing, and that's styrene, and that's it. You use ethyl benzene to make styrene, and it's one way of making raw styrene butadiene rubber dust. It's another way of making it. The problem is ethylene or styrene is not that hard to make. You can do it with ethylene and benzene, which you get from 4,000 other different ways around the base. Ethylene and benzene comes from like both charcoal byproducts and normal petrochem distillation stuff, oil distillation. So coal gas itself really isn't that useful. I mean, the coal tar, I guess that does, the phenol is nice. I know that's how I did it in ATM9. That's how I got phenol originally. The problem is most of this stuff is also kind of worthless. It's one way of making talic acid that's a little bit easier, because you need to feed it potassium dust. Because normally you have to, like, the way we're doing it is with potassium dichromate from dimethylbenzene. However, we also already get dimethylbenzene. We get a lot of it from charcoal byproducts too. So coal gas, like most of the stuff that comes from, the nether air distillation, is just kind of worthless, which is why we hadn't set it up before. But yeah, so it's set up now, just for that neon gas. What else? We have, if I go back over the clean rooms, I did set up the sterilized clean room. So I haven't built anything in here yet. This is for when we make wetware stuff. The reason why I was planning to do wetware earlier this week, however, making the neuro processing units requires. The reason why I did it is stem cells. Before there were in ATM9, there was an entirely different recipe. However, in Monifactory, that's different. Specifically, how it is you need a dragon egg to do it, and dragon eggs only come from the higher tier miners. They come from either the tier 6 or they come from the tier 8. And this was much better from what I figured, so I wanted to do it this way. So I was setting up the tier 8, and that's when I fell into the rabbit hole of crystal matrix stuff. And then it's like, oh, I need warp engines. How do I build that? And it's like a bunch of other crap that I have to do or whatever. And what was it that I needed from like tier 8 or whatever? And then I had to do like skulk progression for something. So I fell into that rabbit hole and never actually got around to wetware stuff. Also because if we go over to ore processing, I actually got around. I finally added an area for passive assembly lines. And actually, I took like a 2-day break at the beginning of this week. I did notice myself getting burned out a little bit again, not wanting to do. The first the thing I notice first when I'm getting burned out is my refusal to do any base expansion. Like if I'm really not in the mood to do any base expansion at all, even if I really, really need to, and I just have nothing else to do until I expand the base, that's when I'm starting to get burned out again, and I have to take a break. So I took like a 2-day break. I went to go, play a little bit more Stellaris or whatever, some hard space shipbreaker as well. And then I came back and I was ready to go. We have room for 8 assembly lines in here. They're actually 17 blocks in length, which is longer than any recipe in the game. And especially, it's longer than most of the things that will run in here too. The reason why I'm doing it this way is so I don't actually have to think about it. I could, shorten them or whatever, but again, they're not really that expensive for what we can do, and I like the way this looks more. Like, I like the way this looks so much that I will spend the extra LUV circuits it takes, and EV circuits or whatever, both like the crystal ones and the crystal assemblies and the quantum processors. Like I will spend those on making it look good. So it's fine. So we have passive electric motors here. I'm also gonna have 2 passive electric pumps at some point because you need that for the wetware circuit boards. This requires the LUV electric pump, so if I want to put those on passive, I obviously need to put the LUV electric pump on passive. So once I have that on passive, we'll be able to start working. I think I actually have most of the materials on passive at this stage. I haven't done silicone rubber rings yet, so I do need to find some more space for that. And again, putting these things on passive is what led me to rebuild the factory floor 1. So I've gotten a lot done this week. It's been highly productive. We're making big strides in progress. We're fairly close to tank, like I mentioned earlier. Like, tank just requires heart of the universe. So how to make tank here, I'll show you how. And by the way, we're not done with tank. I'm going for quantum chest. That's the goal. So in order to make the quantum tank, we need creative quantum tank data, which is made in a UV extractor. So we have to go up a voltage tier. We'll need either I can use 2 ZPM extractor multi-block, or I can just go up a voltage tier, but I kind of want to go up a voltage tier anyway because we do need UV energy hatches just for stuff in general. I think we also there's a few UV recipes we need to make as well, which in the assembler requires a UV energy hatch. This comes from either a tier 10 miner with universe creation data and some blocks of cryococcus at UUHV, or you can make it with a tier 10, some infinity catalysts, and some corrupted universe data. I believe... I don't know if we're going to do it this way. I think the preferred way is, at least from what I've seen, is to do it this way at first. This one requires the projector 1, but we do have the projector 2 set up. So this one is quicker though, but it's the same amount of total power. It's twice the power rate in half the time. Oh, this one actually gives you 16. Okay, so we'll probably try to do it this way. Oh, this requires 1. Okay. So we will do it, obviously the first way, and then eventually we'll duplicate it, I guess, with the, so you get like 2 for 1 or something. Anyway, so, you have to, you do this stuff, so you need the universe creation data, and this requires, a tier 9 with more cryococcus, with more, stellar creation data and stuff. I think we actually have all this stuff. I think I set up a massive craft a while ago. Hey, where did you go? Oh. Oh, you're still running. Oh my, I set this up last night. I literally ordered this craft at like 10 p.m. last night. It's been running for like 12 hours. It must be locked. It must be like blocked up or something. That's really annoying. The solidifier is somewhere over here. I'm wondering what happened. I calculated it should have taken about 9 hours. I don't know. I'll just have to cancel it and restart it again. And we can just go ahead and do 256. Please tell me you're not going to take that long. Okay, you are. You already had everything. So we can actually go down and take a look at the Microverse projector now. So we have the Microverse projector here too. We have the basic ones. It looks like I fucked up the craft and it's not doing them on demand. So that's highly unfortunate. EV input bus. Blocking mode. I don't know why it's not working. I'll have to figure that out later. That's my bad, guys. That's how it is. Okay. Anyway. So, oh, you know, I bet it's because it wants the rocket fuel. That's right. Okay, I'll fix that. But yes, we have the basic Microverse projector on demand. This hasn't changed, though I've added a few more recipes. Over here, I actually have the 2 on demand as well. This one does the tier 7 for Warden Hearts, as we do need that for the Skulk progression. Eventually, we're gonna in here we'll put the big boy one, the hyperbolic one. That one can do any of the recipes. Yeah, it can do any of the different Microverse projector recipes, and it also gets some special ones. So you get like the creative computation data, the creative energy data, a better Hadal shard recipe, quasi-stable neutron star recipe. You know, so you get lots of very important recipes here. Contained singularities. What are these used for? Ah, the mnemonic processors. Cool. I'm sure that's gonna be something I'm gonna have to do eventually. So yeah, like so quantum tank gives you unlimited of one fluid type. And well, that seems like it would be that's gonna be the end of the game, right? You just spam all the fluids and you're done. And the answer to that is no. There's still lots of gameplay after a tank. Post tank is gonna be a lot of fun. I hope. I also rebuilt over here using IV machines, and this is where we have some stuff for the beginning of the Crystal Matrix line too. I just kind of put them over here because I didn't know where else to put them, and we haven't used this area for anything else. Yeah, so like there's still lots of gameplay post tank. So like I said before, like at the beginning of this pack, I assumed that I was going to be here for around 1,000 hours of gameplay. I don't know if that's the case anymore. I don't know if we'll be around here for 1,000 hours. I've put in by far more time than anybody else. I don't know how much time the other 2 have put in, but I've put in 450 hours to this stage, and they probably have a combined 150 or so. So that's like what, like 600? So maybe 1,000. I think probably a little bit less than that. Maybe in the 700 to 800 range. Maybe 900. We'll have to see. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun so far. This base has been I love this base. It's been a lot of fun being here. Just slowly, you know, crawling forward towards the goal. Fusion has had some upgrades. As in I added our first Mark II fusion reactor. This makes tritanium. So we have tritanium ingots on passive. We also have duranium on passive. Though I think I had duranium on passive last week. But let me tell you, I'm so tired of waiting for fusion coils, or waiting for fusion casings. I'm really tired of doing it because we can only make one at a time, or 8 of them at a time with the buffer we have, and it's just really obnoxious. Like here, I'll order another 8, and then it'll just kind of start crafting up because I do need another one for Darmastadium. Once I get that fusion reactor set up, actually, we should be able to get UV energy hatches. It'll take obviously a little bit more work than that, but you know, more or less. I've also done some decorative work over here. I kind of brought the cave in a little bit because I didn't like how square it was. It made it a little bit more of a cave and stuff. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. I like it. I think it looks really good. You know, I added like a pillar and stuff here. Brought this wall up. Added some more, you know, stuff along the ceiling. So now it does look more like you know, a cave or whatever. That's, you know, that has like a bat cave, but for, you know, fusion power. Portable star. This is a little bit QB over here because I was just digging out more space for more fusion reactors, though I may not actually need that. I'm not sure exactly how many more fusion reactors we're going to build. I know in ATM9 we had to do fusion reactors for neutronium, though, however, in this pack you can do neutronium, You can get liquid neutronium through fusion, right, which you can turn into the ingots or whatever. But you can actually just get the ingots from micro miner missions. Like you can get them from the tier 8 miner can give us neutronium. Yeah, we're not that we can get neutronium pretty soon, I think. A lot of these various realm datas are going to be really annoying. And I I really do need to rebuild HNNN. I just need to I need to add more space for more simulators and more space for, more pulsating prediction matrices and stuff. And it's getting really cramped over there. It'll probably, hobble along for a while longer. But it is kind of running out of space. In terms of over here, I actually ran out of space for LCRs. We are capped out on LCRs now. I have to find somewhere else to put them. This is where we make acetylene right here, and then we also make. This is where we store the calcium hydroxide. I kind of want to recycle this because this does eat up quicklime. And we didn't have too much quicklime. We had like 40k. Okay, we're still fine on quicklime. But we do get this from a couple of places. We get this from centrifuging lava, is our primary source of it. I don't know if we get it from anywhere else. No, we don't really get it from anywhere else. But so we do get it from centrifuging lava, which we've had over here for quite some time. And it just constantly runs. It was a trickle of mostly tantalum at the time is what we needed from it. Tantalum you use for like the better recipes of the SMD components, but you don't use them in the advanced SMD components, and that's pretty much its only use. You don't really use tantalum in too many other places, so we haven't really used any more. We don't really need the tantalum at this stage, but it's fine. So yeah, and a constant little source of stuff. Oh, we actually used a bunch of gold over here. That's nice. Oh, you want to know why? I bet I bet this detects gold blocks because one of the micro miner missions pulls out ruthenium blocks, silver blocks, gold blocks, and platinum blocks, and I was just crafting them down into their ingot forms, just because I didn't really want them in block form because we don't really use that, especially the ruthenium. I don't want that in block form because I want to actually have those ingots because we do need those ingots. Where are those ruthenium ingots? Are they not being... Okay, I just forgot to insert that drawer. That's cool. So yeah, not too much change down here over than just adding, a ton more machines. I do kind of want to get over here and start overclocking some stuff too. But I haven't really gotten around to that. We can definitely afford the power, again, since our power system is totally overbuilt and we probably won't need to change it or upgrade it ever. Especially since we're, not too far from tank. And once we get tank, this base is going to be torn almost down to like bare bones. We can remove everything that produces a fluid of some kind. So for example, we can remove almost all of our LCRs. The exceptions would be the ones that produce items like the various boards and dusts and stuff. However, if for example, bisphenol dust is only ever used in making PCB coolant, so we don't actually need that dust then anymore. We only use it as as an interim component to make PCB coolant. Because you use it to make polychlorinated biphenyl. It doesn't really get used anywhere unless you want to make benzene, which we don't. And this just gets mixed from PCB coolant, but that's a fluid, so that would go into a tank, for instance. We can extract a bunch of liquids, like for example, we could do Nequadria. I can spell. Here, we could just look up liquid whatever. And all of these things can go in a tank. So aluminum, americium, antimony, beryllium, all of these, every ingot we've ever made can almost be extracted into a liquid form. So once that's done, we throw it into a tank, we put it somewhere, and we can turn it into we can fluid solidify it into a bunch of stuff, and we're done. One thing to note about the quantum tank data, though, is you can actually use it to make the ME infinity cells, and this will store infinite of one fluid, so it's basically like the tank, but in AE. And I am not entirely sure which one would be best. What would be the better option to do. Whether we want to put them in the AE system, which would be nice, or if I want to keep them in tank form and have them in a setup somewhere or something. At this stage, it'll probably be in AE, just so I have somewhere I don't have to figure out a place to put a bajillion tanks, and we can just spam interfaces. well past the stage where we could have been spamming interfaces and don't really need to do in a single interface to laser nodes, especially since interfaces tick less than laser nodes. But honestly, this is fine. This has been working okay. And especially for some things that can't like pull from, like the molecular assemblers, for example, don't draw from interfaces. I mean, TPS is fine. Uh, every now and then, I do notice that sometimes the server will spike to like 10 TPS for a couple seconds, and then go back down. And I haven't figured out what is causing that. I don't think it's nuclear craft because I have all those reactors are off right now. But TPS is more than fine. By this stage of worth of playtime in ATM9, we were playing at like half speed or something. So you can definitely tell the Monifactory runs a lot better than ATM9. Um, all the lag 9. It looks like you're not running, which is concerning. Anyway, you're also not running, which is also concerning. Yeah, I have to go around and fix a bunch of shit, apparently. Fantastic. There's probably some precursor fluid somewhere that I accidentally ripped out and didn't notice. But yeah, so I think that's, is that it? I think that's probably about it. Yeah, we talked about Microverse. Continuing on about like quantum tank. So once we have the creative tank or whatever, we'll turn off the fusion reactors. Technically, I'll be able to rip them out, but I won't because I built them and I don't feel like tearing them out. So all of petrochem will get removed. Oh, this is still here. I used dirt to help copy paste it, center it. So all of petrochem gets ripped out, especially since we'll have a bunch of space over here. We don't need any of the precursor stuff either. All of this crap over here will get ripped out as well because we won't need any of that. So most of the LCRs, both petrochems get ripped out. Won't need the fusion reactors for plasma either because we'll have unlimited plasma. Even though we sort of already do have unlimited plasma at this stage. All the various gases. So like biotite line will get ripped out. I don't know if there's anything over here that makes fluids. Oh, this will get ripped out because it makes aqua regia, which is a fluid. So once we get to tank, the base fundamentally changes from one where we have to make stuff to one where we don't really have to make raw resources anymore. That's exactly why if you look at like the higher tiered. So when looking at like the Nequadria reactor, so this one. You have the low tier one, which just eats bullets and stuff, and then you have the large Nequada reactor, and this one eats Nequada fuel rods. And this is meant for super endgame post-tank power, because there is not a single recipe that's in it that is made that requires a fluid for like the expensive pellet. For example, we can't like solidify the pellet from something. This is made from an item. This is made from an item. Another item. Like there's still like radon gas or xenon gas, whatever that's used in it. But at the end of the day, that's like not really expensive anyway. Like the omnium dust and stuff. Like we can make omnium dust from the tank actually. So cerium dust and Nequada, like this stuff can be made from tank, but all the other like stuff can't. Like we have then the Nequada fuel crystal. Then you have like the hot fuel crystal, and you have the crude fuel blend and stuff going down here. And so this stuff can be made from, Nequada dust, Nequadria, all this stuff can be made from tank fluids. But it adds a bunch of steps that can't be just, deleted with tank. So once you get tank, LCRs go away, petrochem goes away. So that'll be a fundamental change, and that'll be fun to do. Petrochem is a significant part of this base. And it'll be interesting to see what it's like to get rid of that. I didn't go for the creatives in ATM9, so I never really got to fuck around with any of that stuff. I didn't really want to go for the creatives in ATM9. The Greg Star was a great goal, and I'm very glad we got there because I was definitely kind of fed up with ATM9 by the very end. I was really kind of sick of all the lag. All of these things over here get torn out as well. All the ABSs will get torn out as well. The EBFs, most of the EBFs will get torn out as well, especially since most of these liquids can be made in a liquid form, or we can extract them for a liquid, or things like the doped bools won't go, the dust, calcium carbide dust won't go. That's actually used for make acetylene. Acetylene had a really weird crafting. I assumed it would be made with like easy petrochem or come from petrochem, like just distillation, and it doesn't. You actually need calcium carbide. I don't know if it's how it works in real life. I don't know anything about acetylene in real life, So, huh. Um, but yeah, lots of stuff will go away. You know, this vacuum freezer will get swapped out because this one just makes liquid helium. Um, liquid helium right there. So, you know, it'll be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to get tank, and like I said, we're not that far away. But it's possible. I believe we're not that far away. I could just get like sucked into a rabbit hole for 3 straight days, and it turns out that we're a lot farther away than I thought we were. I mean, we still have, like I said, like tier 11. Uh, oh, it's tier 10. Yeah, we need the tier 10 miner, right? Which requires the neutronium stuff, which requires the mode of omnium, so we have to do a lot of that stuff. Uh, we'll have to get neutronium, but this stuff isn't too bad. We're gonna need titanium coils, which we can do, and we do need to go to UV, but we're, you know, UV voltage tier is part of the plan anyway. Universal Navigator is gonna require some UHV circuits, but that's fine because we're working towards wetware stuff, so we're going to need the UV sensors and UV robot arms. This stuff is going to need titanium, which we have. So that's not too bad either. Uh, liquid Quadria we already have. So we have a lot of this stuff already. Oh, we're going to need a Meraceum though. I think we have some of that stuff from Nuclear Craft though. So I'll have to check on that. Um, yeah, so, you know, universal warp cores. We've done a lot of skulk progression, done all this stuff. We can do that right now. Hadal stuff, I have to set up, you know, the tier, the crystal miner, and then we can do this. So we're, you know, pretty close to a lot of the stuff. I have to just add some more micro miners or whatever, and we'll be good. Um, so we have to do some more of this stuff. So basically, we need to do Omnium, which we can actually. I have that encoded. I have Omnium encoded at least. Um, and we can see that I am missing a bunch of, you know, various ingots here, but I just need to set up manganese, helium, krypton, berkelium, like a lot of these isotopes we probably have. I just have to actually, you know, form them. A lot of these ingots we have as well. We just need to smelt them, you know. Nitrogen, chlorine, bromine. We'll have to do a mission or two for bromine, but that won't be too bad either. You know, we have, you know, niobium. We have to get darmastadium. We'll need to get lutetium. But a lot of the stuff we have. We just need to actually, you know, add that processing stuff. So we're looking pretty good. So at least as of right now, like I said, I think we'll probably get tank within a by the end of next week by the next progression log. I am convinced that we will have tank. Um, I don't know how long it will take me over the week to get tank. But with some decent grinding over the next couple of days, it could happen. It could happen. Um, all right, guys. I have been rambling for quite some time at this stage. I hope you guys, I hope you guys have had a good week. My week's been pretty good. I've been playing a lot of Minecraft. I've been playing a lot of Minecraft. um, and I hope you guys have a good upcoming week, and I will see you all again next week.